Welcome back to Pensioners Corner. Today, we're diving into one of the most important changes facing pensioners, disabled citizens, and anyone who depends on concessionary bus passes in the UK. On October 6, 2025, new bus pass rules will officially take effect. This date marks the most significant transformation to the scheme in decades, and for millions of people across the country, it's not just a small policy update, it's a real change in everyday life. For years, free bus passes have been seen as more than just a bonus. They've been a lifeline. They've helped older and disabled people get to doctor's appointments, visit family, shop for groceries, and take part in their communities. In many cases, they've been the key to independence. But the Department for Transport, working together with local councils, has confirmed that from October, eligibility rules will be stricter, travel times will be more limited, and in some places, access will be reduced. That means people who have long depended on the bus pass will need to prepare now for a very different system. In this video, we'll carefully explain every part of the change, what it means for different groups, and what steps you may want to take before the deadline arrives. So, why October 6, 2025? This isn't just a random date, it's part of a much wider set of reforms being rolled out by the government in the same month. Alongside the changes to concessionary travel, there are updates to the state pension age and benefit eligibility rules. By linking bus pass eligibility directly to the state pension age, the government says the system will be fairer and more sustainable for the long term. Critics, however, say that what looks like fairness on paper may actually feel like cost-cutting in practice, leaving older and disabled people with fewer options. Whether you see it as sustainability or savings, one thing is clear. After October 6th, local councils will be enforcing these new rules everywhere in England, Scotland and Wales. Eligibility rules. What's changing? For many years, people believed that turning 60 meant an automatic bus pass. That hasn't been true across the whole country for a long time, but some regions still offered passes earlier than the national pension age. From October, that ends. Eligibility will now start only when you reach the state pension age. With the pension age moving beyond 66 and edging closer to 67, this means that many people will wait years longer before they can apply. So if you are approaching 60, it's important to understand that you won't automatically qualify. You'll need to wait until you reach state pension age before applying for free bus travel. This single change alone will reduce the number of new passes being issued in the years ahead. Regional differences. Although the national framework sets the rules, councils still have some power to make local decisions. In practice, this means a postcode lottery effect will continue. For example, councils in large metropolitan areas like London or Manchester may decide to add restrictions such as blocking peak hour use. Rural councils, on the other hand, face a different challenge altogether: shrinking bus networks. In many villages and small towns, the issue isn't whether you can use your pass at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m., it's whether there's a bus at all. So while the national rules are being standardized, your experience of using a bus pass will still depend heavily on where you live. Travel time restrictions. One of the biggest shifts happening in October is the tightening of travel times. Until now, many pensioners and disabled people could use their passes during the busiest hours of the morning. That will change. From October 6th, concessionary passes will typically be valid only from 9:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. on weekdays, plus all day on weekends and bank holidays. This means early morning buses, often used for hospital appointments, caring duties, or even part-time work, may no longer be available for free. While councils can make exceptions in certain cases, those exceptions will be limited and not guaranteed. This is why it's so important for people who rely on early morning travel to check with their local council now about whether any exemptions will apply in their area. Disability passes. For disabled citizens, the situation is also changing. Passes will remain available, but eligibility checks will become stricter. From October, renewals may require medical assessments or new proof of disability. Campaigners have warned that this could create barriers for people who already face challenges, as delays or refusals might leave some without the travel support they need. Councils have said that appeals processes will be available, but the reality is that applying or renewing may take more time and involve more paperwork than in the past. Rural communities. For people living in rural areas, these changes could be especially difficult. Many rural pensioners already rely on buses that only run a few times a day. If services are cut further and travel times are restricted, the bus pass may not provide the independence it once did. This could increase the risk of social isolation, with pensioners in villages finding it harder to shop, attend medical appointments, or simply stay connected to their communities. Campaigners have argued that alongside these reforms, more investment is needed in rural bus services so that the passes still serve a real purpose. Why these changes are happening? At the heart of the reform is money. Concessionary travel costs the government billions each year, and with an aging population, the expense is expected to keep rising. By raising the eligibility age and limiting travel times, officials believe they can reduce the financial pressure on local councils and the Department for Transport. Savings are expected to run into the hundreds of millions annually, but opponents of the policy point out that financial savings come at a human cost: less independence, more isolation, and greater difficulty for those who need affordable travel most. Whether you see it as sustainability or savings, one thing is clear. After October 6th, local councils will be enforcing these new rules everywhere in England, Scotland, and Wales. What can you do before October? If you already hold a bus pass, it won't vanish overnight, but you may notice changes in when and how you can use it. Councils are encouraging all current holders to check the expiry dates, restrictions, and local rules on their passes before October. If you rely on early morning travel, it's worth contacting your local council directly to ask about exemptions. If you are approaching pension age, be ready to apply as soon as you qualify. And since delays are likely, applying early is better than waiting. It's also sensible to think about alternative travel arrangements, whether that means planning different bus times, looking at community transport schemes, or coordinating with family and friends. Public response. Not surprisingly, the changes have sparked strong responses from pensioner groups, unions, and disability charities. Protests and petitions are already underway, with campaigners warning that cutting back free travel undermines independence and community participation. Some predict that if the changes go ahead as planned, many pensioners will stop traveling altogether, which could lead to greater loneliness and even poorer health outcomes. Whether the government makes adjustments in response to public pressure remains to be seen, but the debate is far from over. Looking ahead. The October reforms aren't just about one date. They're part of a longer-term shift in how the UK approaches concessionary travel. With ongoing debates about climate change, public transport funding, and demographic change, free bus travel will remain a major political topic for years to come. Future governments may decide to reverse some of these changes, expand the scheme again, or introduce a completely new system. But for now, the countdown to October 6, 2025 is real, and everyone affected needs to be ready. Final thoughts. So, what does all of this mean for you? It means that free bus travel is changing, sometimes in small ways, sometimes in very significant ones. Eligibility is tied firmly to the state pension age, travel times are restricted, disability passes will require more checks, and rural communities may feel the hardest impact. For some, the pass will still be a lifeline. For others, it may feel less useful than before. The best step you can take now is to stay informed, check your local council's guidance, and prepare for the new rules in advance. October 6, 2025 marks the biggest shake-up in decades. It may not be the last, but it is the one that's coming next. If you found this guide helpful, please consider liking this video and sharing it with friends or family who might also be affected. That small action could make a big difference for someone who doesn't yet know about the changes. And if you'd like to stay up to date with more important news and guidance for pensioners, make sure to subscribe here to Pensioners Corner. Thank you for watching and take care until next time.